Okay, we're back live. Item number 6, consider approval of promotions, transfers, payroll changes, and or hiring positions in the county sheriff's office.
Morning, Jim.
Good morning.
Standing in for Cat Robinson for approval of 2 new hires for the jail. The first is gonna be Thomas Marin, jailer with experience, step 2, starting pay rate of $22.11 an hour, effective 7/1/26.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
Ms. McDonald, Thomas Morin,
Thomas Marin,
M-O,
Morin.
more, okay. Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Is he got jail experience?
Yes, that is experience step 2.
Okay.
And the starting rate is $22.11 an hour. Effective 7/1/26.
I move we approve the hiring of Thomas Moran at a rate of $22.11 an hour, effective July 1st of 2026.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Second one's gonna be David Dudley, jailer with experience, step 2, starting pay rate is $22.11 an hour, effective 6/23/26. This one has a stipulation, employment is subject to medical clearance with primary care physician. Cat Roms is waiting on a letter, it's supposed to come in tomorrow.
What was the effective date, sir?
That was today, 6/23/26.
23. That's tomorrow. That's today. Huh?
That's today. Oh, wait,
It's effective immediately, contingent upon the receipt of the medical clearance.
That's correct.
that is my motion.
I'll second it. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Item number 7, consider approval of county clerk minutes for commissioners' court meetings. Ms. Schneider, you want to make a comment on this item?
Good morning. I am asking for an Attorney General's opinion on the agenda items in accordance with the Open Meetings Record, or Open Meetings Act. I believe that not including a lot of the documents that are open for discussion during the Commissioner's Court and then supposed to be in our meeting minutes, these are not put in front of the public until, and sometimes never, like the job descriptions, the change in the HR director. All of these things should be available for the public review. The question is, on the agenda, how does it correlate with Robert's rules? What is considered the agenda? Is it just the agenda, or is it all the supplemental documents that should be available for public purview? Those are not happening on a regular basis, including the budget, which we've discussed in the past. And also, they're not being posted after they've been approved. In the email that I sent you, Judge Jones, last week, and copied Sarah Neal and also Lindsey Brown, I made the comment in there that our meeting minutes had not been posted since March 10th. It is now the 24th of June. How is the public supposed to know what is happening? The consent agendas are never published. All of these items are not in our meeting minutes. They're not in our full agenda packet. And it begs the question, again, as I've stated on numerous occasions, where is the transparency with the operation of this county? Thank you.
Thank you. There's no other public comment on this item. So we're considering approval of county clerk minutes.
For June 9th, 2026.
I reviewed those and had edits on 3 items that the clerk has made. I move we approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Item number 9, consider approval of a resolution to establish a Hill Country Regional Sexual Assault Response Team. Okay, Chapter 351 of Local Government Code requires counties to establish an adult sexual assault response team. I was contacted and offered the opportunity for us to create a joint or regional team with Kerr County. Bandera may also be considering joining that as well. That same section does allow counties under 250,000 population that are contiguous to form a regional response team. So that's what's being proposed today, is if the county would like to join with Kerr County to establish that Hill Country Regional Sexual Assault Response Team. The statute does provide membership. It essentially names who the members on that team will be, includes prosecutors, law enforcement. From our county, the two members that we would need to appoint would be the county sheriff and then the chief of police of the largest municipality in the county, which in this case is the city of Fredericksburg. So it would be Chief Orauer and Sheriff Ayala as our appointees. The remaining appointees, like the prosecutor, for example, will be the district attorney for the 216th, which is Lucy Wilkie out of Kerrville. So some of the team will be comprised of Kerr County appointments. Our specific appointments are just for the sheriff and Chief Orauer. This is similar. There's already another response team for certain types of criminal activity. This is a second one of those. The legislature found that a high number of reported sexual assaults are not prosecuted. 9% are not prosecuted, and so this is to address that issue potentially, or hopefully. So I don't know. Sarah, do you have any input on this? I know you're not necessarily. Okay. All right, that's good.
I'm for it.
Okay.
For the committee, not for sexual stuff.
If you have any questions or discussion,
You keep on.
I did send an email to the sheriff and police chief letting them know that they would be appointed by statute. It's not discretionary. They can send a designee if they want to do so also.
I move we approve the resolution to establish the Hill Country Regional Sexual Assault Response Team.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Is Tony still here? All right, item number 11. We've got about 5 minutes. You do it in 5 minutes?
I need 30 seconds.
Okay.
How much time y'all need?
Item number 11 is consider approval of the airport project participation agreement between TxDOT and the county. This is for a pavement project at the county airport.
During a recent audit, the tech shop realized that we had not signed our APPA agreement, which is our standard document when we sign up for a grant project. It basically says that we have to follow the grant assurances and other stipulations that are written in the agreement that are standard. We're looking for a project of $5,107,660. Our share is at 5% of that. Again, if this is pending this signature, then we can proceed with the construction project.
This was approved some time back, is that correct?
Exactly. They just realized that they hadn't done it and trying to get their paperwork straight.
Move we approve.
I have I signed up for a comment on this.
Okay. All right, yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. My comment goes to the assurances section C1, the audit requirement, in section 2 CFR part 200 subpart F. It says we must be able to comply with the capability of being audited. That does not exist to date. Are we aware of that? And how is that going to be addressed?
Is that, you're talking about the federal reg, CFR?
Yes, it's in the assurances. I don't remember exactly what page it's on, but it is C1, and it is in section 2, CFR, part 200, subpart F. And it says you must be able to be audited at any point.
So being audited, is that the same thing as producing an annual audit? Because we also will have a single audit obligation. that we will
The
do
language
annually.
is not specified in that clause. But the fact of the matter is, we are not auditable.
I think we can be audited, we just can't produce a single audit that would be,
But
you know, an annual audit.
signing this agreement at that time, that you are in violation. That's my point. I mean, the point is not to be a jerk about this stuff, but this goes back to the greater issue in our county of the treasurer's office. And there is still an unwillingness to do anything. I mean, I just got my latest FOIA dump from you, Judge Jones, on Friday afternoon. That's 189 pages. These are financials, and by law, our treasurer is required to produce these affidavits. And Commissioner Olvers, just to refresh your memory, you have signed affidavits on the financials in the past, and you have continued to. So, but again, you know, when you look at what our current treasurer has supplied over the last 2.5 years, she's only supplied intermittently payroll affidavits. Everything else is missing. There's no accounting of our investment funds. There's no accounting of the fee accounts. I mean, this is pretty egregious. And again, we are applying for grants all over the place, knowing full well we cannot comply with the audit components. And there is no, and again, let me jump ahead to your RFQ for the outside audits. Why is that not attached? But we can talk about that when we get to that other point. But again, I want to bring up the fact that we knowingly are submitting documentation for grants and everything else that can be rejected and even clawed back. These are our concerns. This is financial disaster for our county, and no one seems to be terribly concerned about it. We lowered the hiring standards for the deputy treasurer. We went from required standards to preferred. And this gentleman is going to be our new treasurer. It's deeply concerning, and there does not seem to be any sense of urgency by this court to really address this and deal with it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other discussion on item number 11? Tony or Court?
I move we approve the airport project participation agreement between TxDOT, Department of Transportation, and Gillespie County for the airport project paving project.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Judge, I did pull out all your signature pages
Okay.
in there, and I'll scan those in when we get them done.
Is there one for the auditor to sign too?
Well, it's actually, they allow you to do it now.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I can't speak to the CFR reg. I'd have to look at that, but I know that at the state level, the grant assurances, require us to provide an annual audit. There's some language in there about unless it would cause undue hardship or burden on the entity or something like that. And so, to date, the state agencies at least have been willing to give us extensions on that as we're working towards it. I'd have to look at the federal reg to see. This is through TxDOT, so I don't know if they're incorporating the federal regs or the state level regs. But so I'm acknowledging your concern, and we have been able to continue with the grants to date. But if there's not a change at some point, I expect that they would stop allowing us to do that.
And as I have stated in past commission meetings, we are in violation, I shouldn't say we, I'm not, this commission is. This commissioner's court is in violation of multiple local government codes pertaining to the finances and reporting and accounting of our finances. And as I've also stated, it warrants a state audit. And it also, at this point, begs questions on whether or not I truly believe, based on what's happened and the level of trying to hide it from the public, that it needs to be investigated by the Texas Rangers. You have admitted on record yourself, Judge Jones, that we are in violation of those local government codes pertaining to our finances. And again, I go back to, there is an unwillingness to really address this issue by hiring competent people to be in these positions that can actually do the work. And we have, when you go back and you look at these documents on where our cash reserves are and what's available, there's a $20 million drop over 2.5 years. That's a significant amount of money. And how do we know what is really happening with our books? I've had individual conversations with some of you, and again, I don't see that there's a concern, but it impacts, and let me just say this too. It impacts the taxing ability of the city because of so many connections with the county's finances that they can't raise taxes according to SB 1851. I just had this discussion with somebody else in the city. They're deeply concerned. They're more deeply concerned than you all are. And again, Commissioner Romer, you can't even look at me when I speak.
I'm listening to you.
And the looks on your faces are, none of you have expressed any concern about this. And what is your answer to the people sitting in this room, to our employees? You just talked about their health insurance. What happens when we do have a state audit and things get shut down? What happens when the Rangers come in and confiscate all of our records? What happens? We had a year, you had a year, to prevent Standard & Poor's from lowering our AA+ rating to 0. Nothing happened. I don't know how, the people in this room, you are owed explanations. These are your tax dollars. These are your elected representatives, and they have nothing to tell you. And we have to stand up here in these meetings, and we have offered to help. And again, I was just asked by someone else, would I be willing to sit down with members of our commissioners court and work through these issues and using our professional experience to help resolve this? And I said, of course I would. Of course I would. But I've also made those private invitations to have meetings, and those have gone rebuffed. So there is not a willingness to use the talent and resources in this community to help address these issues. That's what we're asking for. We continue to ask it, and we should not have to stand up here and be the Open Meetings Act police or Robert's Rules police. We shouldn't have to do that. Thank you.
All right, my response to that is Texas Rangers would come in if there was criminal activity. I may be alleging there's criminal activity. I'm not aware of any criminal activity that's taken place.
We have no financials to prove there's not.
There's duplicate systems in place in the county. That's why the auditor produces different reports than the treasurer. Typically, we would get both, but it's not like we're completely blind in this circumstance.
You've not been able to offer up the financial meeting to the public that you said that you would do. That was over a month ago. People
I
are
didn't say I would
wanting to
offer a
see-
meeting, I said that I would produce information on status and expenditures and that sort of information.
Okay, and do we have that?
It's not ready for publishing yet, is that what you're asking?
But again, Judge Jones, not to be argumentative, but the public is owed this information. You said you have to put it forward. When is the audit and the treasurer departments, when are they going to be able to produce these? And at this point, based on what I know from all of my thousands of pages of FOIA documents, that is not going to happen in the next year. That's not acceptable. And again, we need a serious plan put in place to hire the appropriate people. The treasurer needs to resign. We need to stop paying her salary. We need to close in on her bond to help offset some of these expenses. There's a lot of things that can be done, and you all are unwilling to do that. And we want to know why.
Well, we'll have an opportunity to talk about this more when we get to the other agenda items that are more directly related to this, like the RFQ for the outside auditor. We have an 11 o'clock appointment for our executive session. So if there are anything else, commissioners, before we break for executive session?
And several of us signed up to speak on that topic as well. May we proceed with that?
Do y'all want to speak before we go to executive session or
Yes,
after?
please.
I'm okay with that unless y'all want to.
Are they waiting for us? I mean, it's 11:10.
Yeah, I think we'll have to call. We've got two comments. Ms. Schneider, item number 29.
The first question I have is, and so the audience is aware, this is a grievance proceeding, and the county is requesting that legal fees be funding this, or representing this employee. Has this been done for other employees in the past?
County's not requesting it, we're discussing that potentially.
Again,
I mean, we are going to
has
discuss
this
it.
been done for other employees in the past?
Has what been done?
That you have hired outside counsel to represent an employee in a grievance situation?
Not in the time that I've been here. I can't
Mr.
comment prior
Alford,
to
you've
that.
been here the longest.
Not to my knowledge, but
Okay. Again, it's strange to see this, because the other question is, why is our county attorney not handling this?
That's an option, that's what we're going to discuss today.
Okay,
I mean, this is like a fact-finding discussion for us today in a lot of regards. We have not made a decision already.
Well, and again, there's a lot of missing information here. Is this based on a sexual harassment case or claim? Is it based on a discrimination claim? I mean, you're asking the taxpayer to pay for an attorney to represent an employee in a grievance situation. There needs to be more information given to the public.
And when the court takes action, it will be public, but we're not going to publish every detail of,
Well, Judge
that's why we're
Jones,
meeting executive session, is to discuss this issue.
and what does the handbook say about these grievances? What does the employee handbook say?
I'm not going to comment on it because I don't want to, I'm not trying to disclose the content we're
I'm
going to
not
be talking
asking,
to
I'm
until
not asking for
after.
the persons involved. We're asking for details that why would the county set a precedent of hiring an outside counsel to represent an employee in a grievance?
We're not setting a precedent. There's statutory authority that requires us to provide
Can you explain that?
representation. I am right now. There's statutory authority that requires us to provide representation for a county employee that's sued, or that there is a likelihood that the activity may result in criminal charges. It says the district attorney or the county attorney can provide that representation, or if they can't do so, then the court at that time, the county can consider hiring outside legal counsel in that circumstance.
Okay, and what is the citation for that?
you have that, Sarah?
I wouldn't be up here asking the question if you would put it in on the agenda.
What, you want me to put every statute on the agenda? I don't understand.
You have part of it on here. You have the executive session, you got it in other places.
The executive
So-
session has to be posted for the meeting.
I agree. Can you just perhaps please give me
Yeah,
the
we'll
citation?
pull it up here.
It's Texas Local Government Code Section 157.901, and in addition to what Judge Jones had commented on to explain the statute.
Can't hear you.
To explain the statute, in addition to what Judge Jones commented on to explain the statute, it also requires that the reason for representation is related to work conduct, obviously, right? So it can't just be for a private capacity, but there are specific, this specific statute in particular discusses when and if a county provides legal counsel to an employee. And then there's also case law and attorney general's opinions. But to my knowledge at this time, no outside attorney has been hired regarding this matter.
That's fine. It would have been helpful to put the citation on and it would have eliminated a lot of questions. Thank you.
Mr. Knightsky?
Nothing additional.
All right, thank you. All right, pursuant to section 551.071 and 551.074, the court is going to recess the open meeting and reconvene an executive session for item number 29, which is to discuss and take appropriate action regarding the retention of outside legal counsel to represent a county employee in a grievance proceeding. And we'll meet in the law library, so y'all can stay in this room if you want to.
Can we have 2 minutes to get there?
Sure.
Thank you.
I'm sorry? I don't know if we're ready or not. Yes, it's 11:13 a.m.